Hello, welcome to your weekly Pick Your Crystal reading for the week of October 2nd through October 8th. Just quickly before I start, for those of you who might be interested in a private reading, my prices are quite reasonable. And, I have a fairly short waiting list. So if that's something you're interested in, just look in the drop box below and you will find the information that you need. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? Today's a green theme. So we're using calcite and we're using we're calling this light green. We're calling this one green, because it is, and we're calling this jade, okay? So take a moment, see which one, two, or all three crystals resonate with you. And let's get started. Okay. Create some space here. Alrighty. Queen of Swords. The Eight of Wands. The Emperor. And Strength. Okay. So the Queen of Swords is about, well, swords just in general tend to be about sometimes the law, sometimes it's about, legalities, the government. But it's often about the intellect. It's about, analytical thinking. It is about rising to the challenge. It is just sort of that kind of energy. And of course, you always have to remember that the thing with swords is they cut both ways. And so what that means is that, when you're dealing with swords, you want to be particularly careful that, you don't focus so hard in one direction that you are not paying attention to something that's going on in the other direction that could be important. Okay, so with the Queen of Swords, you have that kind of energy. It's sort of, let's get this done, let's get going, enough is enough, it's time to move forward sort of energy. But what's really interesting is what follows it. You have the Eight of Wands, which is about communication. It is about rapid change. Sometimes it's even about things feeling absolutely chaotic. It is about phone calls, letters, text messages, emails, whatever. It is all about communication, but it is also about, your own speaking. It's about talking. It's about getting your message across and your points across. The Emperor follows that. And so, most of you probably are a little bit more familiar with the Empress, which is that female energy of abundance and growth and new beginnings. Well, the Emperor is exactly that energy, but it tends to pertain to kind of, I don't know, like more mundane things. It will often talk about being a mentor or, somebody who is very successful in business. It is about that same growth, that same new beginning, but it tends to be more about, really tangible situations. And it's followed by the strength card. And so the story this tells us is, it's talking about kind of that let's get going, let's get moving energy, be prepared for things to start moving very, very quickly. Know that there is support there for you if you're trying to look for some insight or some guidance or something like that. And this is also about making sure that you also stand in that emperor-like energy so that you have the strength and confidence and focus about your own skills and your own talents as you've got the Queen of Swords and that Eight of Wands energy moving in. And the strength card here is lovely because the strength card really is about, trusting your own strengths. It is about taming, the insecurities. It's about taming the negativities so that you are able to really accomplish what it is you want to accomplish. Super lovely energy, but definitely kind of a let's get moving, let's get things happening, and let's be successful and focused and put our all into it. I don't know what this applies to. It could be something as simple as, fall cleaning, or it could be starting a new venture, or finally, taking a big breath and looking at traveling or trying something new. But the energy is definitely about, come on, it's time to move now. And trust that you're going to go in the right direction. Trust the insights, the information, or the guidance you are getting and receiving. Alrighty. That seems pretty straightforward. Okay. Next, we're looking at this set of cards from this green stone. Where do we have? We have the Three of Cups, the Ace of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles. All right, these cards are reversed, so I'm just going to put them into their correct story positions. Okay, so let's start with the Page of Pentacles. So the pages are about, kind of movement. And pentacles tend to be about financial. Sometimes they can be about academia. But what this is talking about, the Page of Pentacles tends to represent good news, forward movement, something pertaining to that which is tangible. So whether that is you're waiting for some money to come in, whether you're waiting for some information to come in pertaining to grades or something like that. This is an energy about good news starting to roll forward finally. It almost feels as if you might have been waiting for a while or things were sort of stuck, but this definitely has that kind of moving forward sort of energy. The Queen of Swords is a woman of worth. It is about being capable and practical. It is a real Mother Earth energy, but in a very sensible and sort of methodical, organized way. You've got the Ace of Wands here, which is the beginning of a new idea. It is about, action and new ventures and new ways of doing things. And you've got the Three of Cups, which is a celebration, often a good news kind of celebration, and often a celebration around the domestic. So it could be about happy news. It could be, a birth. It could be an anniversary, a birthday. Thanksgiving's coming up for Americans next month, for Canadians next week. So the energy here is really about understanding and appreciating that something is finally getting moving in the arena of pentacles, okay? And that's going to allow you, it feels very much like take a sort of a practical and a clear-headed view of how you want to get done, what you want to get done, and how you're going to move it along. The Ace of Wands is sort of jumping up and saying, okay, but take me into consideration too, maybe look at this in a new way. Maybe look at this as a new beginning. Maybe don't revert to the tried and true. Maybe it's time to start something new, go in a new direction, take a path less traveled. And the Three of Cups is about, that coming together, that celebration feeling. It is about happiness. It's about achievement. It is about, coming together as a family, as a unit. It could be friends. It could be coworkers. But whatever this is, the energy of this reading is very much, it's funny because the reading that I just did had a very similar message. It was kind of like the wait is over, get going. And this one feels sort of very similar to that, in that there is just this sense of the good news you've been waiting for appears to be on its way, or you may have just recently received it. And the Queen of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands are sort of talking about, don't just look at things from one perspective. Try to get a broader view, kind of scan your horizons. It's possible that this is really a time for you to move forward in a new way with a new kind of energy. And there is happiness and success that follows that. So you shouldn't be afraid, honestly, to just sort of follow your good guidance, your heart. But whatever it was is now starting to move forward. There's definitely movement to this, and it's definitely movement pertaining to that which is tangible. Okay, my jade disc here. Let's get started. The Hangman, King of Swords, Justice, and the Nine of Cups. Okay. Whatever it is, whether you have been waiting for something and have been feeling sort of stuck, like things aren't moving forward, or whether you feel that you have really, really made a lot of sacrifices, or you've given up things to be able to accomplish or honor other situations. This reading is sort of acknowledging that energy. It is acknowledging that sense of, it's not a stuck energy, because it's like it can be a waiting energy or moving through a kind of a period of time where you're giving a lot more perhaps than you're receiving. But it's not an energy of sort of hopelessness. It's just an energy of acknowledging or recognizing, frankly, what you're working with, what you've got to work with, what's there. Now, because you have the King of Swords following that, and again, swords are kind of about the intellect. They're about, analytical thought. They're about challenges. Sometimes they're even about animosity and that kind of thing. And perhaps all of that plays into effect. Perhaps there are some feelings of resentment. Perhaps you logically know and understand that resentment isn't really going to get you anywhere. Or the sacrifices you made feel as if maybe they were for nothing, or is this ever going to end? But justice is here. So justice is talking about a balance coming into play, a balance coming forward. And because it's sort of followed by the King of Swords, there really is a feeling of recognition of the right, recognition of the fact that you've been doing the right thing, or you've been conducting yourself the way you felt you needed to, or that during this very long wait and journey, you have been patient and done the level best you could, or, even though the sacrifices have been hard, you felt they were necessary, and in many ways you were honored to, or feel privileged to make those sacrifices on behalf of. But the Nine of Cups following the Justice is kind of cool, because the Nine of Cups is, I love this card. It's one of my favorite cards, because the Nine of Cups really does talk about making a wish, an emotional, material wish. It is about not selling yourself short when you're making these wishes. It's about, imagining the very best you can imagine, and know that even those imaginings are limited by your own imagination. And very often the universe can have something even bigger and more grand in place for you. And so, it's quite interesting, because jade, of course, is, very often considered sort of a money stone. It's crystal protection, etc. But very often it's worn in conjunction with, money, finances, that kind of thing. So this really feels like whatever it is you have sort of been wading through or are currently going through, understand that there will be a balancing that comes out. And ultimately, there really ends up being this sense of success, a balance, justice being served. And, don't hesitate to make those wishes. Make those wishes that reflect not only your highest dreams emotionally, but your highest dreams financially. And always remember, you may not get everything you dream of, but you get a heck of a lot more than if you don't dream at all. Okay, so there we go. Those are the readings for this week. Thank you so very, very much here for being here at Soulprint Weekly Readings. Have a joyous week, and I look forward to seeing you here next week. Bye-bye.